Alright, hello and welcome to the Anime Happy Hour podcast. I am joined here today by my two co-hosts. First off, we got Kirkland.
Hey.
And last, and still going to stay last until I get an apology, Jake.
Fuck off.
Yeah, he's always going to be last.
Yep. In case it's your first time joining us, we are the Anime Happy Hour podcast, where every week we get together, have a drink, discuss the world of anime and what's going on in it. Well, we casually share our thoughts and opinions on various topics from episode to episode. Before we get started, a few disclaimers real quick. While we are an anime podcast, we're also an adult podcast, so there's going to be occasional swearing. Jake, if you haven't done that already.
I don't know what you're talking about.
We also discuss recent events and episodes from both new and old shows, so here's your spoiler warning ahead of time. Lastly, these are our own opinions. As I'm sure all of you have your own opinions, leave them in the comments section. I don't really care. We still get it to this day. If you want to reach out to us, you can reach us at our Facebook page, the at Anime Happy Hour Pod 03. You can email us at animehappyhour951@gmail.com, or you can catch all of our links to everything we got at anchor.fm/happyanimehour03. All right, well, as we do for every single week, what do we got poured up for tonight, Kirk? What are we drinking?
This
you bring anything new to the table?
I have Cola, it's Kola. It is from Treehouse Brewing, but it is a coffee liqueur.
Oh, I like Treehouse. I drink their beer. I haven't had their liquor yet.
Their liquor is really good. Their beer was better when they were in Munson, Massachusetts. When they got commercial,
before they expand.
Yeah, they're kind of overrated now. Now they're just a name.
Yeah. Jake, what do you got?
I'm just drinking some beer.
Beer. Good. I'm bored. I'm right up there with you.
Is that a silver bullet, Jake?
I guess.
It is for me.
It is for you, Johnny.
Got the good old course. Yes, sir.
Oh, wait. Now I feel left out.
Yeah, well.
I drank a little bit too much last night, so I can't. I'm getting up there in age there, you know.
Yeah,
can't really.
I have one beer nowadays. I wake up with a hangover, so.
Oh, Kirkland had to break one out too. Yeah. Well, with that, we'll dive right into our weekly Q update and what we've been watching. So, I've had a pretty boring week, but we'll start with Jake this time.
All right, well, why don't we just hit the nail on the head right off the bat, and we'll talk about the second half of Ancient Magus Bride, which these episodes are going to come out at the same time, so you've probably just heard that I wasn't that big of a fan of the first 12 episodes of Ancient Magus Bride.
Hey, Jake, I'd just like to preface this with that you're wrong. But anyways, continue.
And I'll continue by saying I was not a fan of the second half of Ancient Magus Bride. I thought overall the show was boring, except for 8 episodes, which is, a third of the show. From episode 13 to 24, nothing really I shouldn't say nothing really happened, but nothing stimulating happened until episode 19. Episode 19 through 24, the last final arc of the show was great. That's one of the few episodes we actually see the antagonist, who was a great, compelling antagonist that was very underutilized, right? I thought it was a waste because Cardophilius/Joseph should have been in the whole show because he's the only thing that made me want to pay attention. And I don't know. I'd say core 1 and 2 are about the same. but the conclusion of the second 12 episodes puts it above the first. I don't know. If you said there's a third season coming out,
Yeah.
I will watch the third season only because of the last 5 episodes of the show. That's my opinion on it. I did like you were talking about the character development from Elias, who in the first 12 episodes I said was boring and stagnant. I changed because at the end of the show I did like his character development, especially the moment where he unselfishly allows Chisei to do whatever she needs to do, even though it may mean her death, which he would not have done in the beginning of the show. And I thought that was a good change for him, and that his arc felt more complete, I would say, by that point. All I'm saying,
like a couple.
Yeah, well, I don't know about the couple aspect. I still don't think it was portrayed that well.
She started to see him in a different light by the time the show was over, too.
She started seeing him in a different light in episode 12. I'm just... their relationship, I need more for it to make complete sense. I'm sure as Kirky is a manga reader, their relationship is probably much more developed where they're at in the manga.
Yep.
And I'm expecting that to come in season 3. But what we've gotten, the next set of episodes, I am not sold on them getting married at the end of the 24 episodes just based on what we've seen. It seems to me like Chisei has done a lot of growing up, and it seems like throughout his arc, while it is a good arc, Elias goes from being an adult to a child, and then where we're at now, he's just kind of getting to like 17 or 18 years old, you know what I mean? I don't think his character, where he's at in his character arc, he's ready for a marriage relationship, but he's definitely heading that direction. I feel like it was rushed a little bit.
Yeah, it's like the thing you brought up last week about how he is pretty much an infant and kind of just growing with every experience he gets.
And Echo plays off of that too. Echo's the one that was in charge of all the dragons. He basically, there's a few times that he calls Elias a child or a toddler, and that he's just like he's growing. Like even Echo points that out in the show.
Yeah, which like you said, all these experiences he's had with Chisei and everybody that has been in the show throughout that 24 episode has kind of grown him to that point. And yeah, he's not, I don't know if he'll ever fully reach that adulthood,
being
in the same sense, but yeah, because he's never gonna really be human. Mm-hmm. He still has to force himself to feel those types of feelings.
Yeah, well, it's not about...
Hold on. Let me ask you this, though. How often do you have to force yourself to feel those feelings? I
don't even try to force myself.
Well, that explains a lot, Jake. All right. You know what? I have to force myself to feel some of these feelings sometimes. Okay, guys?
Do I want to get a little too detailed here? But no. Say my body knows how to react in certain situations.
Well, yes, okay. He's socially awkward.
Naturally.
If anything. Yes, he's socially awkward, if anything, all right? But, all right, does he necessarily know how to react? Yes, but I think the development of him feeling certain feelings is unrelated to the fact that, he's learning how to react to certain situations. It kind of develops from him, knowing what his emotions are to knowing how to react to his emotions.
To those emotions, yeah. It's it's like that scene you talked about, being anger, the anger, or being protective or being whatever.
Mm-hmm. There's I think it's in the first season. He's like, "What's that strange thud in my chest? Is this what love is?" Oh.
So, with that though, how do you feel about losing, Chisei losing,
I don't know what you
her
call
familiar.
it.
Or, well, that whole scene, I should say. Not, like...
She lost her familiar?
No. Hold on. Why? The whole scene that went on with... where he was, like, dying or whatever.
Did I miss that?
Am I confused? I think you're confused, John.
I could have swore there was a fucking scene.
Are you thinking of Nina and Sho Tucker from Full Metal Alchemist? Because,
yeah, that could get interesting. I mean, no, maybe I am drunk.
The last 5 episodes are kind of similar in a sense of, like, in terms of, like, sadness factor and kind of messed up factor.
No.
Yeah.
No, nothing compares.
They took the dragons from her childhood, fucking mutated them and made them horrible creatures. Like,
they took one dragon, didn't they?
They took all 3 of them and they cut them up and mishmashed them and made a Frankenstein with them. That's why the dragons all fucked up. Yeah, but all 3 of them are dead.
Huh? Well, shit. That was sad. The saddest part of the show is definitely the dragons. But that's what I'm saying. We were missing that type of emotions from not having Cardophilius in there most of the time. Cardophilius did the most dastardly shit that made you actually want to pay attention.
If that's the stuff you like, then a 3rd season is just what you want, Jake, because the manga gets way worse. It's similar... Alright, you claim that Jujutsu Kaisen gets darker and scarier and really sad and fucked up. This show also does that in the same regard. It just takes them 2 seasons to get there.
Yeah.
I had questions, but I'm not going to ask, because, if the 3rd season comes out, or the next set of episodes... I don't want to be spoiled.
So I just looked it up. It's not... There's kind of a 3rd season. There's an OAD, which is...
Oh, yeah, we talked about 3 more episodes coming out.
There's going to be 3 episodes coming out, but the 3 episodes is in prevalence or prequel to the next anime project involving Ancient Magus Bride, assuming kind of sort of like a 3.5 season, or I'd call this season 2.5, I guess, seeing as how it's only 3 episodes.
Season 2 of 7 Deadly Sins?
Yes. And then we'll get the 3rd season eventually, I think is what they're implying. They haven't officially announced a season 3, but they announced that they're releasing 3 more episodes. And they're going to be covering chapters 15, 16, 17, I want to say.
Oh yeah, hold on. Hold the phone. Those 24 episodes were only 14 chapters?
Yes.
That's why it was so boring.
Well, yeah, because they're going at pace with the manga. Oh, I guess not even.
Oh, they're going at a slower pace than the manga.
Yeah. No,
very slow pace, yeah. I mean, yeah, but also...
You think One Piece's pacing is bad.
Yeah, but they don't have nearly as many volumes.
Yeah, but that's because it hasn't gone on as long. But it's the same ratio.
Yeah.
What, 124 episodes to 100 chapters? 24 episodes to 14 chapters? Same shit.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Well, I mean...
I'm pretty sure there's 60 or 70 chapters to Ancient Magus Bride, too.
Then what the fuck are they waiting on?
Myself.
I don't know.
Well, I don't think it picked up very well in the beginning. I mean, it got picked up later on.
I thought you said it was real big in Japan.
It was later on. I mean, like I said, when it first dropped, I didn't even know or hear about it. But when I had seen a bunch of people writing about it online years later, and that's when I started to watch it.
Every list I've read has it on there.
Yeah, but I mean, a lot of people picked it up. I mean,
when did it come out? 2015?
Was it 2015 or 14?
Yeah, it was early.
Bring up episode 7 or 8 here. I think I had it in the notes there. I also did clarify myself. I was wrong. So, just going to
I mean, we knew that.
I mixed up 2 different shows.
That was never in question.
Oh,
Anyways,
17.
bottom
2017.
line, I thought the second half of season 1 was boring. Except for episodes 19 through 24, which were the best episodes of the entire 24 episodes. Cardophilius was a very underused, interesting villain who I'm not exactly sure where he stands at the end of this season, but I would still like to see more from him. / Joseph. I'm still not sure. You tried to explain it to me earlier, Kirky, but I'm still not sure.
It's a cursed human being that has split personality disorder. Is how I'm gonna go with that one.
Okay, so is Joseph doing all this bad shit
Yes.
to like feed Cardophilius essentially?
Yeah. Let's go with that. Yeah. They're both bad. Kind of.
The flashback made it seem like Joseph is a victim.
Was a victim.
Yeah, I guess after 2,000 years, you kind of blur the lines.
Yeah. And
That's what I'm saying, dude. The show did itself a disservice. I know it's, based after the manga, and it's only 14 chapters, which takes like 15 minutes to freaking read. So I'm sure the pacing is fine in the manga. But the show did a disservice by only having him in for 6 episodes.
I hear you.
Well, so do you want to make any revisions?
I would watch a fucking spin-off about the 2,000 years of him fucking with people.
True.
Oh, revisions?
Do you have to make revisions?
Do you have what I gave the plot last week? I'm not going to change the characters or the animation.
Yeah. Here, I got it pulled up right here. 6.5.
I'll give it a 7.2.
7.2, okay.
He bumped it up, and here I am thinking you thought the second half was worse.
No, I already said, dude. The first and second half were the same, except for the last 5 episodes, which was the best of the entire show.
Yeah, the last 5 episodes are gas. I'll agree. It's slow at points, but it's also a slice of life, and you have to be in the right mindset, and you have to kind of be feeling it. At least that is how it is for me.
It's not a slice of life, though.
What?
I don't think it's a slice of life.
It's a romantic slice of life.
With some
No, it's not.
action in
Because
there.
the frickin' the manga's only 14 chapters in. It's not a slice of life. It's like a fantasy action deal with magic and shit that just it paces itself really poorly, so it seems like a slice of life.
Oh, here we go.
Okay, we'll just go with that.
Yeah, we'll just go with that.
I'll tell you who I want to know more about.
Elias?
No.
Joseph?
No.
Rinfred?
No. Well, yes, but no.
Sleigh Beggies?
Absolutely not. I believe her name is Silver.
Oh! There is a whole arc dedicated to her. So you do find out who the Silver Lady is, and she does have backstory.
She's very interesting.
Yes, you do get to learn more about her eventually.
I mean, we saw like a 30-second flashback of her being like a banshee or something.
Yeah.
And the
Elias.
family dying in the house. Yeah, we saw that, but I'd like to know more. Here's what I think so far. So far, we have not done enough to really capture me. The main characters, I guess they're both the main character, have had some growth. Elias ended up at least where I wanted him for the end of this first 24 episodes. But I am way more interested in the side characters. I'd like to know a lot more about at least 10 of them.
That's fair.
Well, with that, do you guys got any other shows you want to talk about?
Oh, yeah.
I'd love...
Seeing how we just made a huge rant on...
Yeah, Ancient Megaspread.
Yeah.
I'd love to talk about the disappointment that is Tactop Destiny. I'm still going to continue watching it because it hasn't totally given up, but it's pretty bad. It's not on the level... Ooh, excuse me. It's not on the level of, like, Peach Boy Riverside, but it's certainly a letdown. I was expecting a lot more from it. I was expecting it to be a little bit more music-based than it is, because there's been, like, 2 instances of him actually playing piano, and he's supposed to be, like, this great composer's child, and it's just, like, you hardly get any music, and the soundtrack, like, isn't even that great. Like, Ancient Magus Bride had a gas soundtrack, wasn't even about music. But, yeah, I mean, for an anime supposedly about people fighting monsters with music, there's very little music to be had.
Even during the fighting?
Even during the fighting. Like, he just waves around a wand and points at shit, and she attacks the points that he points at, and it's like, wow, so clever, you shot its legs off. Kudos to you, that's how you kill monsters, good job. And so far, like, the last 3 episodes have just been the same thing over and over again of, like, this is how you use your music heart, look at this. She has this obsession with killing monsters and doesn't listen to anybody, just wants to kill monsters, and it's a dead story. Like, I'm very disappointed with how the show has turned out.
I've still only seen the first episode. Should I not catch up?
The first episode's the best episode.
So, I mean, a lot of it, too, is, like... Yeah, they did that whole... They're kind of just... I thought originally when you hit the second episode, I was fine with a backstory or a 2 episode.
Mm-hmm.
I was okay with that. But they kind of just started at that second episode and then just... It's the Boruto. It's the Boruto. You know?
Yeah.
You just...
Coming from you,
throw out
John.
a great first... What?
Coming from you, you'd think that means it's the greatest show ever.
I don't think Boruto's the greatest show ever. But in the same way that you fucking dedicated so much of your time and energy over how many years watching One Piece and keeping up with One Piece, that's kind of what I grew up and watched, and that's how I was. Naruto was my whole thing. So I have some sort of, like... It's like... Let me put it this way. It's like... Me and the Naruto series originally were like best friends. If my best friend dies...
You hang out with his little brother?
And just because I don't like his kid, I'm still going to take the... You know, if I'm left in the will to take the kid, I have to take the kid. You know? You stick it out, at least until they're 18.
Or so you say.
Yeah, but it'll take 500 episodes for Boruto to turn 18.
Yeah, well... We just got, confirmation. The tuning exams are coming back, so,
They're already back.
Is he allowed to participate in those?
Yes, he is, because they changed the rules, so now you're allowed to use ninja equipment as long as you're the maker of said ninja equipment.
Oh my god. You would think that the Hokage coming out there and slashing your headband, you'd be exiled from the fucking village.
Yeah, but when
apparently that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah. Well, I guess when...
Except for trying to relate him to Sasuke.
Yeah, it's... Trust me, I'm not happy about it, but I hold on to the few good fights that the show actually has.
Turn
and I'm
Orochimaru bad again, and banish Boruto from the city. Send him to Orochimaru. Orochimaru get the Otsutsuki out of him, try and plant him in himself. And, you get him to train him, and then he comes back, and then Sasuke's like Kakashi. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I'm holding on to the fact that, like, I'm gonna get a time skip at some point.
Yeah.
You won't.
And I'm hoping they come back a little bit more badass. Because we know Mitsuki has some wild-ass moves when he uses his
How are they gonna get a time skip? Isn't Boruto, like, about to explode?
Yeah.
Well, I'm willing to bet this whole arc's going to finish up, and then there's probably going to be a time skip. I mean, we know from the manga that he goes full Otsutsuki. Because that fight already happened in the manga. But I feel like if they're going to follow they're pulling up around the same amount of episodes that the original Naruto had. It's getting close. And
What,
I feel like they're
300?
going to... Yeah, so I feel like they're going to have that big final arc where he has
Boruto
that big
Shippuden.
final... Yeah, well, I mean, it's like... Here's the theory. There's going to be that big final arc. There's going to be the big fight at the end. We already know that Boruto goes full Otsutsuki from the manga. Because there's images. I didn't read it because I don't want to spoil it. But I know it happens. And I feel like it's going to be like the Naruto Sasuke thing. In the original Naruto, there's going to be something that sets Boruto off to where he gets in the fight. Just like they did in the original. They're going to cut it off. They're going to do a time skip. Because we already know that they're... Him and... why am I drawing a blank?
Kawaki.
What's the other dude? What?
Kawaki.
Yeah. Him and Kawaki aren't on... It's like a him and Sasuke thing. It's literally a new show with Boruto, but it's him and... Boruto and Kawaki are like Naruto and Sasuke.
Yeah, except somehow Kawaki's able to kill the Hokage.
Yeah. Well... Boruto still managed to somehow take the Rinnegan too, so...
Does he?
But we've covered that before. Anyways, I don't know. Like I said, I'm holding on for the hopes that maybe I get a few decent episodes. I've gotten a few decent fights so far. I'm not in it for the plot at this point.
I only really watched one arc, and it was filler. And it was when...
The back, where they go back in time or whatever.
Yeah, and he meets young Naruto.
Yeah.
That was a good
But-
arc. Except for the fact that they nerfed the shit out of Sasuke.
Yeah. Per usual. Alright, any other shows before we dive right in?
Yeah. I got two that you two haven't seen, so I'm not gonna...
I've seen the newest Mushoku Tensei.
No, you haven't.
Yes, I did. The family squabble one.
Oh, I asked you before the show. You said no.
Well, I didn't know if there was a new one as of whenever, but yes, I've seen it.
All right. Well, don't say anything about it until John sees it. But
Hey, Johnny, take off your headphones real quick.
I'm not too worried. I'll watch it. Sometime.
I thought that episode was great. The thing I liked the most about it, Kirky. I'm not talking to you, John. You can just eat your pizza or whatever. The thing I liked about that episode was it was almost like Rudius had the same. Quit making that face, guy. I'm trying to concentrate here. Rudius had the same point of view as me as a viewer following this week to week, and I'm just gonna look this way while I talk. And so following week to week, I kind of forgot that his family all got teleported and Paul was out looking for him and shit. And so when it comes to him coming face to face and getting into that squabble, and it's like he didn't even think about it, I thought to myself, well, I didn't even think about it either. You know what I mean? So it's almost like we're getting scolded along with him. I thought that was really good.
I agree with you. Yeah, you do kind of forget because it's just like, I'm on an adventure to get home.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're just following along with Rudius and all of them the whole
Given
time.
I don't blame Rudeus for not thinking.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I think his dad's a little, well, Well, spoiler, Johnny.
Go for it.
I don't think his dad is unreasonable in bitching him out. Or I think his dad is unreasonable in bitching him out, being like, "How could you not think about this?" Da 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 da. And like the reality is that it's not really Rudeus' fault. Like, yeah, he was having fun and stuff. Like, he was trying to make the best of life. Like, he's in a really shitty situation, and he's just he was trying to get home to get back to his dad and his mom. Like, he was doing what he could do, and trying to enjoy it along the way. Like, I don't blame him. Like, fuck, his dad's just kind of a prick.
Yeah, and he may be an old Japanese man in that body, and he may be a super powerful mage and all that, but he is still technically only 12.
Yes.
And
yeah,
so,
he's also been through hell and back, and
Yeah, exactly. He's a 12-year-old who got teleported to the demon continent.
I think you earned the right to do whatever the hell you want after everything he's dealt with.
But at the same time, I get Paul kind of being unrational about it because he did lose his family.
Yeah, and Paul also doesn't know where Zenith or his other daughter is.
Yeah, or,
Wait, aren't they all at home?
No.
No, they all got teleported.
How many episodes back are you?
No, I could have swore that the family was at home, though, because I could have swore he did a flashback to them at the house, and Paul was the one out searching for him.
Nah.
I could have literally...
The flashback is when they were...
The
flashbacks are only when Rudeus is still there.
No, because I remember that... Because, what's his friend? The little friend he made when he was younger. The only friend he made. Yeah, because it was... She came... Maybe it was back when he was still at the castle.
When she came was when...
He was still at the castle.
Well, when she came was when that thing hit and they all got teleported.
Okay. I thought that I couldn't remember whether it was before or after that thing hit, but I remember the flashback of, and he wasn't there. Rudeus wasn't there. So
yeah, that's when the thing hit and they all got teleported. And then next time you see any of them, it's Paul putting up the sign saying his family's missing. Can you look for him?
All right, I got you. It's been a little while since I've watched it, so
All right, well, moving on. World's Finest Assassin's newest episode. I'm not going to spoil it. I think that show is, besides Fruit of Evolution, because that's my favorite show coming out right now.
Agreed.
World's Finest Assassin has surprised me the most. Because I was very excited for it with little expectations, and it's just getting better and better week to week, in my opinion. This episode was the best of the 5 out, and I can't wait for it to keep going. I'm super excited for that show.
yeah, I'm only back an episode on that, so I just gotta watch the new one. But
Yeah, the new one was lit.
well, we took our time today on our updates.
Yeah, well, we don't have much, so we gotta spread it out where we can.
We got a somewhat decent-sized news day, so... Well, I guess with that, we'll start tackling our news real quick. If you're hearing this, we are currently recording our newest episode, and due to the fact that I did not watch the upload complete last week, personally, it didn't fully complete, and I went away on a trip and didn't even notice until yesterday. So that's why we didn't upload last week, so I'm going to upload them both this coming week at the same time. And so that means the draft is also going to get pushed back a week. I'm going to repost all that, make sure that's all handled, and we'll do a new draft next week. With that, though, we are first on the news list today. Made in the Abyss. Season 2 is getting info released on November 21st. Kirkland's reaction right there. Yup.
Made in the Abyss was that was an underdog anime for me. Like, I watched the first episode of it. I was like, eh.
Don't come out here with that. Don't come out here with that, Kirkland.
No, wait a second.
Don't come out here with that.
Hold on. It's one of my favorite anime. I wasn't expecting it to be good. Like, the first episode I watched, I'm like, oh, this could be okay. And then the second episode came out and said, oh, all right. And then the third, and then the fourth, and I'm like, ooh, this is getting good. And it gets dark, and it gets fucked up.
Do you want me to do you want me to bring back the clip from a few weeks ago when you put Sakugan on the same damn level?
Sakugan, I
You
said
know?
it could be. I don't remember what I said, so I gotta tread
Yeah.
carefully here. But
Because that was the episode. That was the episode. Jake's like, "Okay, John, about time you started off on Kirkland." Like,
Sakugan is very good. I don't know if you've watched the
Kirky,
newest
you
episode
said,
of Sakugan.
and
but
I quote, Sakugan is miles better than Made in Abyss already. That's what you said, word for word.
I mean, I'll fight it till I die. Made in the Abyss is.
You said Made in Abyss was garbage,
I gotta
and
go.
Sakugan is the truth.
I gotta go. Sorry. Bye.
False accusations out here.
Yeah. Made in Abyss is very good.
That being said, I'm surprised. I'm like very surprised because the way it was wrapped up, I think that should have been seasons instead of making 3 movies.
Didn't it
But-
already get a season 2, or was that the movies?
No, they did 1 season and 3 movies.
Are the movies
But they
continuations
continued
of
this-
the story?
Yeah, it was. It did follow it, so
So it's technically season 5?
technically season 2, but because you're not going to count the movies as a season. But
Well, I'm saying it's
From,
a
like, the-
continuation
from
of
the
the
sh-
story.
well, from the pictures, it wasn't the same people. So I don't know if it's following a different route, but like I don't know. Like I said, we're gonna get information on the first, so hopefully it'll give us a little bit of an idea on who it's gonna follow and
21st.
what
21st.
21st. Thought I said that. That being said, we also have another announcement for another show, 2 shows actually. Well, actually, that's all of our news for today, pretty much. But Sword Art Online Progressive, which was one of the movies that dropped, gets a second film set to release in 2022. I know you're not a huge fan of Sword Art.
I love Sword Art, and I
Original.
wanted, yeah,
OG.
and I like Gun Gale, and I like the first half of season 2 when Asuna is like in the birdcage, and then it gets into the Excalibur arc, and I haven't gotten past that.
I actually liked that arc.
I thought it was
I don't-
extremely boring.
I actually like that arc. It starts off a little boring, but I think it progresses really well.
I think if I remember,
I don't like the
correctly,
second half. I don't like the war arc really.
I don't know about the war arc. I'm at the part where they're in that like floating dungeon looking for Excalibur, and I just can't get past it. I want to catch up because you were talking about how like Alicization or whatever it's called was good, and War of the Underworld was good, and I want to catch up and watch those. But I watched through the entire show again to catch up so I could get through it, and just stopped at the same exact spot.
Yeah, you should just start at that season and just let it rip. I don't like the second half nearly as much. It's a whole war arc, but I honestly like the build up to it a lot more.
Yeah.
But that being said, we're getting a second movie. We'll see how it is. High Guardian Spice. I've seen pictures. I haven't really watched it, but
It's like
not that this
it's
is
like
helping its
wannabe.
case any.
It's like wannabe Steven Universe. It's just bad.
I was gonna say it literally looks exactly like Steven Universe.
It's
Well, Crunchyroll.
it's wannabe Steven Universe. It's like Japanese Steven Universe. It's just bad.
Yeah, it's currently lowest rated anime on Crunchyroll. Completely, which is tough to beat.
I watched the first
Being a new
episode
show.
and was pretty appalled by it.
Yeah, which is saying a lot.
You said it's lowest rated on Crunchyroll?
Yeah.
Saying a
Lower
lot.
than
What are
Mega Spread?
You saying a wow?
Whoa. Yeah. Oh. You can say that all you want, but we still have your scores up on the board, so clearly it can't be that bad.
Oh well, I just gotta give it where it's given, or give it where it's taken.
Oh jeez.
Next, Spy Family is getting another season, officially announced for 2022.
They made an anime of that?
Yeah, it was first season. It was a while ago, but yeah. And, or no, maybe it is. Maybe it's the first. It's actually
Yeah, because the manga
manga
started
came
coming
out. Yes,
like within
the
past
first
year.
season's getting released in 2022. I read that wrong because I was reading the one above it. Another one is No Game No Life special announcement coming out November 27th. Movie, show, new season. What are we thinking?
I'm cool for
Jake?
either.
I mean, I'm cool for either too, but
I mean, obviously, I'd prefer a season over a movie just because more content.
yeah, I just don't want them to. I think it ended really well.
I hope
think
it's
the
not borderline
show
X-rated
wrapped up.
again.
I mean, I liked it, so
I
mean,
wasn't
I'm
a
not
fan of
opposed
seeing
to
a 12-year-old's stuff.
hoo-ha.
Yeah. I kind of stopped watching after that. I was like, no, I'm good.
Well, either way, I like the show, so I'm not complaining too much.
Japanese people are
And
weird.
we, I guess we'll end it on a high note for the news. There was a Japanese princess who recently had to say goodbye to her family because she lost her royal status in the family solely based on the fact that she married a commoner. Ain't that a fairy tale story?
Oh, it's getting to Christmas. It's about time we had a real Hallmark story.
In real life, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll never understand other cultures. I mean, understandably so. Like, I don't live anywhere else. I live in the United States. And
Yeah, and understand.
Yeah, we're not
they
a
don't
monarchy.
understand how. Yeah,
yeah.
they don't understand us. So.
Dude, we're just apes to other people. Like, people look at us and go like, what the hell are those things?
No, Kirk, you're
Seeing
just
people
an
compare
ape.
like fast foods between us and them, like
Yeah.
alone is kind of funny.
Yeah. But, like, it's just so weird to me. Like, I feel like the majority of people in America highly value family. And then, like, you just see that, oh, you're marrying a commoner? You're marrying somebody that doesn't work for the Fortune 500 company? Oh, we're disowning
Wow.
you. Goodbye.
Well, I mean, it happens in America too. It's not just Japanese royalty.
Not
I
to
mean,
the same
there's-
extent, though. Disownment
I mean,
is
it
very
happens
real
in
Japanese
England.
culture.
Happened with, what's his name, Harry.
Prince Harry? Nah.
Prince Harry.
Yeah, but they're still all over the news and shit.
Yeah,
He's still
I'm sure
royalty.
she's going to be... well, no, he was...
I'm sure she is just
He
over
had
there.
to, like, step down from taking the throne, didn't he?
I think he
He
gave
can't
up
take
his...
it anymore.
I think he gave up his seat, but I don't think that he's...
Disowned?
Yeah, he's not disowned. He's still part of the royal family. He's still a royal. He's not in line for the throne. Well, I
I
think...
think it's all stupid.
Yeah, who the fuck understands
Yeah.
any of that shit? I don't.
Marry who you want to marry.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll slide right into our main topic here. We do every single week. It's called Top Tier, Steer Clear. Every week we bring a new show to the table. This week it was my choice. Typically a show that has come to its completion. So we're trying not to cover shows that are currently running or not completed yet. With the one show each week, we're going to be given individual scores between 1 and 10, rated in 3 different categories. And then we're going to average them all out and do them as a whole based on how good we think this show is. 10 being the best, quote, top tier anime, that's an absolute must-watch. Or a 1 being a steer clear with don't waste your time. We have our own reasons behind our ratings, so we're going to dive into those a little bit. And at the end of each episode, we'll take the average of the 3 scores, throw them up on the big scoreboard, and keep it posted on our social media pages from week to week. We should have a good amount going after the next few weeks. So this week, the show is Tokyo Ghoul. It's set in a world where humans live in constant fear of ghouls, who are superhuman or superpowered humanoid beings who feed on human flesh to survive. A shy college student, Kaneki, who is nearly killed by an attack from one of the ghouls, becomes a half-ghoul himself after receiving an organ transplant from the ghoul. Realizing what's become of him, Kaneki is forced to adapt to his new lifestyle whilst avoiding the relentless police officers who want to exterminate all the ghouls. The show itself ran for 3 seasons. 4 if you're talking to Jake. But 48 episodes. There was 2 OVAs, and it originally aired in 2014. I guess initial thoughts on the plot. Do you want to start with Kirk there?
Yeah, so I mean, like, seasons 1 and 2, sure. The plot was there. It was great. It was awesome. And then we get into season 3, and it's kind of there. And then season 4, they just take the plot and they say, fuck this. We don't need anything. We just need to show ghouls slapping the shit out of each other and fighting people.
False.
What? Yeah, okay.
The plot was there for all 4 seasons. The problem with season 4 was they tried to shove like 120 chapters into 12 episodes.
Yeah. That's fair. Because they're like, we're not going to get another season. Let's just shove it all in one. And
I don't know.
They flubbed it really hard. Rather than, like, you know, try to make a quality anime out of the last season, they just said, fuck it. We're just gonna do it. We're just gonna flub it. And they flubbed it. They flubbed it real hard. And, yeah. We ended up with season 4. So, I guess overall, because season 1 and season 2 were absolutely amazing, and they will go down in history as some of the best anime ever created, I'm gonna give, but however, I have to include seasons 3 and 4 into this. I'm gonna give it a 6.5 for the plot. The plot's probably one of the worst things. You know what? I take it back. We're gonna go with 6.2 because it's not deserving of a 6.5, and it's not deserving of being rounded up to a 6.5. It's slightly better than average in my mind.
All right. Well, Jake,
plot-wise.
Plot-wise.
9.8.
9.8?
9.8.
Did I hear that? 9.8?
Nueve point ocho.
That was a
Jesus.
right field. I did not expect you. You just talked so much shit about it.
About Tokyo Ghoul?
Yeah.
I didn't talk any shit about it.
All right. Well, I'm all in for it. Dude, this is my show pick. It's my favorite show. So I'm not.
Do I think they handled the actual show? We'll get to that in animation. Poorly? Yes. Do I think the plot was phenomenal? Yeah. Season 1 and 2, great. Completely agree, Kirky. Season 3, disagree. Season 3 was phenomenal.
Dude.
Was the change in animation studio less than the first 2? Yeah. Was the plot there?
Hold on. Tokyo Ghoul follows a bell curve for me, alright? It exponentially raises second season and into third season. It's even up there for third season. And then towards the end of third season and into fourth season, it might as well have negative reviews because it's just absolute ass.
Well, see, here's why the fourth season plot is great to me. Because I read the manga first. So I knew what was going to happen. I didn't have to...
First.
Oh, you can't say anything, Kirk.
Yeah.
Hop off.
So I knew what was going to happen plot-wise. Which is why I was so absolutely disgusted. Let me say that again. Absolutely disgusted with how they tried to fit so much into the season and ruined it. But the plot points were still there. And the plot overall is one of my favorite anime stories ever.
Alright, let me point this out, though. You read the manga. You knew what was happening beforehand. You knew what the plot points were. So I couldn't identify a plot point in season 4 to save my life.
That's fine, but I can't judge it from a point from your standpoint because I already knew what was happening. I can't be like, oh, let me think about how I would react to this if I didn't know what was happening, because I did.
That's fair. All right.
And so the plot was
didn't
there.
Read the manga.
Hold on. The problem was that I don't know what was going on in their minds when they wrote that season. What made it even worse for me was I was literally in film school taking a directing class when that season came out. And so what they did was they tried to shove like 90 to 120 chapters into 12 episodes. So what they did was, instead of making a show, they had, because you need a lot of exposition to do that, they just had the camera sitting here on one character giving exposition and slowly panning to the right. And then switch to the character he's talking to, giving exposition, and slowly pan to the left. But the plot was there. It was just so poorly executed, it makes me sick.
Alright, fair. I'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't read the manga. And it's still my favorite show. I gave it a flat 9. And, I mean, dude, the thing is like, they know how to match it properly. They know how to match the feeling and the wave. And, like, if we're talking music in shows...
Unraveled
for the first and last episode, it hit in the first episode.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't even know what's coming. And it hit at the end of the first episode, where where Toka just shoves flesh into his mouth and, like, makes him eat. Like, it hit really good in that part. But after seeing the last episode of season 1, with the whole thing that happened with Jason...
One of the greatest episodes of all anime.
By far, literally, probably my favorite episode, hands down. With the music, the animation, the fight, the feeling, all of it. So, I mean, dude, I'm all in. That's why I was a little surprised. I mean, I knew you liked it, but I didn't think that, like, you know...
Dude, we already talked about it in the first episode. That was my starter anime.
Me too. That and Dead Man Wonderland were the two I started with.
I've seen that
then I went to Bleach,
10 fucking times, dude. Read the manga. That was the thing. That show is the reason I'm sitting here today.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll move right into animation. Because I know you have a little bit of a gripe with animation, at least. Because I know, like you said, they did change studios once you hit season 3.
The animation
kind of got like Attack on Titan feels. You know, they did the same thing.
Yeah.
So I would compare.
At least Attack
season
on Titan
3.
made a comeback.
No,
well,
I think the earlier seasons were much better than the late.
Yeah, really? But it wasn't bad. So it still portrays the story Attack on Titan does. The animation is worse than the first 3 seasons, but it's not bad. That's what I think of, like, season 3 or the first half of season 3 for you, John. That's what I think they did there. The animation studio changed. The animation's not bad, but it's nothing compared to the first 2 seasons.
Yeah,
and then
I think they just got a little lazy with it too, which didn't help.
They didn't get lazy with it. I'm talking about the first 12 episodes of season 3.
Yeah, so
that was a really good. That was a really. It followed the manga almost exactly, and that was a really good. They did what they needed to do with the different anime style, and I think the animation fits the story because we have Kaneki turning into Heidi, right? So new character arc, new story arc, essentially, new animation. So I think it kind of fits there. And then season 4 happened. The only thing I can say about it was god awful. It was poorly directed, poorly thought out. Whoever was in charge of that should be taken outside and shot.
Just too far.
Lanium?
No, it's not too far.
Bring him out to the lake?
Oh, yeah. And so, for animation, I gave... I'll go through this. I had to grade it seasons individually and then average them. Season 1 and 2, I gave 9s. Season 3, I gave a 7.5. And Season 4, I gave a 1.
A 1? Damn.
Yeah, well, I'm sure... I didn't give it a 0 because I'm sure if I went out there and searched, I could find something worse. You know what I mean? But
yeah, definitely.
So that averages out, and it breaks my heart to do this, but Season 4 was just so fucking bad. averages out to a 6.375. So that's what I give it.
Or
All right,
give it a
6.4. That's what I give it for animation.
All right. Well, it makes me think about it a little bit. So, Kirk, let's hear from you real quick. As a whole, 1 to 3, 1 to 4, whatever. Still calling it
Seasons
3.
3 and 4, the animation is just so poor. 5.1, like ever so slightly better than average, just because of the first 2 seasons. It's just seasons 3 and 4 are like, it's really bad, like really, really, really bad.
I don't know if it's a biased look on my part, or like I'm more of just having a bias, but I mean, I gave it a flat 7 because I can name so many more shows that are worse animated than season 4. To the point where, like, you know, I get it, but the first few seasons do bump it up too, which, you know, the nostalgia fact too. You know, I've held on to this show for so long, and rewatching it kind of reignited that nostalgia.
Well, the thing that probably affected why I view season 4 so low is because I did read the manga. I knew the story, so I could see, you know what I mean? I didn't have to sit there and watch the whole thing to find out how it's going to end. It took me like a year and a half to finish the season. So unlike you, did you watch it all when it came out?
I didn't watch season 3 and 4 until later on.
I watched it all.
Yeah, so I didn't. After the second episode, I gave up on season 4 and just ended up finishing it later just to say I finished it. But if I hadn't read the manga, I probably would have watched it all the way through and might have a different opinion. It might not be so low.
Yeah, I feel you. Well, we'll dive into the last category here, into the characters. Jake, you've been leading us off, so let's hear what you got to say about character development and everything else.
Some of the best characters in anime. Ken Kaneki, the anti-hero, along with Guts.
Got my Toka Funko Pop.
I'll get to her. She's my next bullet point. Toka was my original waifu. Yeah, so Ken Kaneki's story arc, starting from the first episode to where the show ends, is just unbelievable. I just him being an innocent human college kid, kind of a pussy, being turned into a ghoul, being tortured by Jason. You know, that transformation that he comes into, joining, what is it, Algiri Tree?
Yeah, Algiri Tree.
Becoming the eye patch ghoul. And then, I mean, you don't really know in the anime how he turns into Heise. But in the manga, it tells you how he turns into Heise. But anyways, turning into Heise. And then his story arc is Heise. And then, when he becomes the One-Eyed King, you know, when he regains his Kaneki, but he's still Heise, and then he becomes the One-Eyed King, and how his story arc is unbelievable. Toka is super interesting. I really like early Toka, where she wants to, as much as she can, just pretend like she's human. She wants to be human.
Yeah.
Well, that's why she shits on Kaneki all the time, is because she's like, you know, you got to live as a human for a little while.
Yeah.
I don't like you because you're still half human. You know, you suck.
That's more or less.
I mean, I like the fact that, like, all the supporting characters are so well drawn out too. Like, you feel for, like, Heidi. I mean, he got his, you know, little shining in the light.
If we all had boys like Heidi,
for real. Or even, like, one of my favorite characters in the whole show is Juzo.
Yeah.
Like, even because they did him justice in the newer seasons too, the 3 and 4.
Oh yeah.
Like he had his own shining lights in that season too. I mean, because you would think that after the first few seasons, kind of, I didn't know if he was going to last type thing, or even get pushed into the new season, but
or just get to where he is after how he grew up.
Yeah, for sure.
Become the person that he is.
And moved so far up in the ranks and everything.
Yeah.
And still badass and crazy, batshit crazy. Like,
I mean, that's a good segue in. Let's talk about not the main villain, but the villain, Jason Yamery.
I mean, even though he's dead, he's probably the
for
best
season
character.
1. Yeah.
Well, yeah, not in the whole show, but he was one of my favorite villains.
He was.
It would have been cool to...
I mean, he was my favorite villain. I'll just say that. I also liked the gourmet. I forget his name.
Oh yeah. Was it Shu?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was also pretty good.
Yeah, he had that rich, creepy, pedophile vibe to him.
Not nearly to the level of Jason, but yeah.
Jason was just schizophrenic. Like, he was just crazy, but like he filled that role type of thing, And it would have been cool to see like a little bit in an OVA or like a maybe somewhere else, like the whole everything between. I mean, then again, like seeing like maybe a backstory for Jason or Rize.
We saw a little bit of it.
A little bit. But like Rize would have been cool. Seeing like her, I mean, because she has a reputation before she dies in the first episode.
Did they not show? I don't remember. Did they not show any of it in season 4?
A little bit, but they didn't really show like. I mean, it would have been cool because like it just showed like just seeing her like go on a tear. I mean,
how she became the what is it? The glutton.
Literally, yeah. She did. I mean, it was all over the news about how one body can last for months, but they're just binge eating for fun.
Yeah.
And everything, and that's like she's the one who started that, and her dying kind of turned everything in motion in that ward and everything in the first place.
Yeah, the power vacuum.
All right, question, because I didn't see I didn't read the manga, and seasons 3 and 4 didn't make it outright clear. The accident with Rize and Kaneki was intentional, correct?
Yeah.
Who caused it?
The doctor.
Because he wanted to test out whether he could make a half ghoul.
And
by using parts.
Was the doctor a ghoul?
No.
Who was the doctor working for or with?
I think he was just working for himself, but
he wasn't working for anyone.
He was just a man.
He had ulterior motives, which I can't exactly remember what his ulterior motives are. But Kaneki was like the first test subject.
To whether it could be done.
Yeah, and then after he creates other children. Yeah, with Rize's Kakuho.
Yeah, you see that in seasons 3 and 4. You see her
keeps her alive and keeps pulling out her Kakuho to implant
people and make weapons out of. Yeah. But I mean, like I said, I like all the characters, the plot development, even like when the doves, I mean, having them like given backstories, and it's not just like random cops chasing after ghouls type thing.
Oh, dude, yeah, that's one of my favorite things is
the doves.
There's differences, but there's also a lot of similarities between the ghouls that we see and the doves that we see.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because
there's fucked up ghouls,
whether you like it or not,
there's good ghouls, there's fucked up ghouls. It's just.
I mean, that's the whole like.
They're still human at a base level. They're all human.
Yeah.
Like.
Or they're all ghouls.
Ghouls turned into ghouls. It's like a vampire. I mean, you're human before you turn to whatever you turn to, but you still have that base level humanity to you. Just like some ghouls want to live a normal life, do what they need to do what they want to do. I mean, they have to survive by eating people, and there's ways around that. They've tackled that in the show without having to go out and just binge eat or kill people for fun.
Yeah.
And it's just like even in the doves, like you have some crazy doves, like what is it, Curio? That like
Motto?
weird karate, yeah. Like he was just a wild who just loved killing for fun.
I mean, his
using different.
His motive was he was doing all that to get as good as he could to kill the one-eyed owl who killed his wife.
Yeah, but at the same time, like that was his original motive too. But like he also pushed himself to a crazy level, and like
Went insane.
Brought himself to that mental insanity to like he enjoyed the hunting and killing of it at that point. Like by the time you hit that point,
Yeah.
like he was pure at heart for the reasons he was using, but. It was, I mean, like I said, I liked it. I don't know if we got a score from you, Jake. What are we feeling as far as characters go?
9.5.
All right. Kirk?
8.
8?
Yeah, I think it has very good characters. I don't think they're anything amazing. Mostly because, like I said, third and fourth season, things start to get really jumbled and it's kind of confusing. And the character development kind of just goes out the window. For somebody that hasn't read the manga, the season 4 is almost unwatchable.
I agree. Season 3 was really good, though. For character development and plot.
It was okay. From my perspective, anyways.
The thing that was probably confusing for you, because they don't show it in Season 2 of the anime, was how Kaneki turned into Heidi.
Yes, that is confusing.
So how that happened in the manga, in the anime, Heidi gets stabbed in the stomach by Arima, and Kaneki carries him, while Unravel's playing into the CCG while they're all there, and Arima's in front of him, right? And that's kind of left open ended, and then next season starts, and he's Heidi, leader of the Ghoul Squad, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
So what actually happens in the manga is, and this is also what happens to Hide's face. Kaneki, from his fighting with Arima, is very, very weak, right? And he finds himself in the sewer. Hide did run into. Actually, I don't remember if in the manga he ran into Arima, but Hide finds Kaneki in the sewer really weak and offers him up. Kaneki's not in his right mind, so he doesn't remember this, but Hide allows Kaneki to eat part of his face to, heal him, right? And so that's what happens to Hide. And then when Kaneki comes out of the sewer, Arima has kind of been baiting him that way and is waiting for him, and he fights with Arima. Gets his ass kicked, and Arima stabs him through the eye and pierces his brain, right? But doesn't kill him. And when he pierces his brain, that gives him the amnesia and the split personality.
Personality, yeah.
And so now that he's got amnesia and this other personality, Arima raises him and trains him to be the Heisei Sasaki. And so that's how he turns into that. If you knew that, it would probably make a lot more sense. I did see a lot of people when that came out, like, how the fuck did this happen?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's no reason why you can't throw one episode in there.
Yeah.
Or even, a 10-minute backstory or something.
Yeah.
But, so, I mean, after all of that was concluded, it's a flat 9 after I averaged everything out, because I gave it a 9.5 too. Totaling all 3 scores, though, it was a 7.8. So, still a decent score.
Yeah.
The animation brought it down a bunch from us. Because, I mean...
It kills me
then
to
again,
give it that
Kirk's
low
plot
score,
didn't help
but...
any either.
Yeah, well...
I'm sorry. Look...
No, you're not.
You're
Kirky
right,
thinks
not.
Ancient Magus Bride's plot is great, so... Can't really trust him.
I mean, Ancient Magus Bride has a 8.2 average, so.
What's this one's average?
7.8.
I didn't give it a low enough score. Take back what I said earlier. Put my plotter to 2.
Let's make more revisions.
Hey, like I said, this is from the perspective of somebody that hasn't read the manga, doesn't know much about Tokyo Ghoul other than what's presented in the anime, and towards the end of season 3, things kind of got a little weird and confusing. And season 4, like I said, was just I watched all of season 4 twice just to try to get a grasp on what the hell was happening, and it was just not.
Dude, it's so upsetting too, because season 4's part of the story is the best part, the climax, right? And they just rushed it and did such a bad job, it ruins that story.
Which I'm fingers crossed right now, hoping they don't do with Bleach.
Yeah.
But because the Bleach's best part of the whole show is the last arc, and we're finally getting it. I'm hoping they do it right.
Well, at least Bleach isn't tied down to 12-episode seasons.
True. I mean, who was it produced by, though? I mean, it was produced by a relatively big studio, wasn't it?
Studio Pierrot? Talking about Bleach or Tokyo?
Tokyo.
Yeah, Pierrot was 3 and 4.
Oh, yeah. I keep forgetting that it switched in the second half.
Yeah, it was Madhouse the first 2 seasons.
Yeah. Which, I mean, I feel like if they kept it Madhouse...
Dude, if they kept Madhouse and did five seasons at least, it would be the best anime. The best short-form anime.
Uh-huh. I feel that. Well, I'm going to add that up to the list. And like I said, I'm going to post everything up for this week. I'm going to post both last week's episode and this week. So if you're hearing this, last week's episode's up too. It'll all go on the social media and everything else as well. Like I said, with our draft, we're going to postpone it a week. So I'm going to repost that so everybody has a chance to vote. But with that, we're going to dive right into our outro. I think it's a shorter episode this week. A little bit shorter. With that, we're just going to wrap up episode, 9, right?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
We're on
Next
9
week
at
will
this
be
point.
the big old episode 10. It'll be double digits for us and no turning back until we get to triple.
Whew. I mean, there's enough anime out there to keep it up. So.
I mean, my contract has me until episode 1000.
Oh. Are we going to survive that long?
I don't know if I have to talk about how...
By the time we hit episode 1000, maybe One Piece will be over.
Well, once we get to episode 100, we're going to have the next 100 episodes doing the steer
each
clear
arc of One
or
Piece.
top tier, about each arc of One Piece.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
including the
years.
fillers.
We could do that for the next 10 years.
Yeah, I might not be here for, my contract might
episodes.
expire. my contract might expire by then if we have to talk about One Piece that much. Don't get me wrong. I like One Piece, Jake. You know I like One Piece. It's one.
The hardest part for me is how much, if we do those arcs, rewatching all of those episodes for
it's
each
gonna be
week.
so painful.
There's so many episodes to I've watched it through and through, but I mean, when you've watched it over the last 10 years, there's blurry spots.
I mean, I watched
But
900 episodes of it in a month and a half.
yeah,
So it can be done. Granted, I didn't do anything else besides watch it.
I was gonna say you
Mr. College Student.
fit it right in the middle of those study sessions. We're already halfway through our outro at this point. Feel free to reach us at any time. You can look up our Facebook at Anime Happy Hour Pod, or email us at animehappyhour951@gmail.com. We're currently streaming on Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcasts, working on Apple Podcasts still. They're kind of a pain. We're also in the process of getting the YouTube going. Still waiting for an email back from them too. Also a pain. So make sure to look us up, reach out to us, say what you need to say. Peace out.